This video is sponsored by Kaamos Metal Cruise 2023.
Amassing the bodies and pits as they die, sentient and filthy they rot. Flammable and singing, discarded like waste. For the fire of the handgun, you played it all wrong. And soul and valor.
Welcome to Rauta's Underground Trio episode. Once again, 3 different bands, 3 different styles, and 3 different backgrounds. Also, the style remains the same, as you might have learned from the previous episodes. I'll go from worst to best according to my own personal preferences. Take no offense if your band is the first one and some other band is the last one. It's just how I feel about it. However, this time I have rather good news. No mediocrity here, even though no super highlighted albums either, but something more on the positive side with all of these 3. Now, since these all 3 come from different labels and all that stuff, they are indeed very, very diverse in the sense. First, we'll start the most beautiful packaging on the pile. This one is ArsGoatia, an Austrian side project, a band with the first album, and this is Hiding Amongst Humans. Sounds like some extraterrestrial music. No, don't get me wrong. My personal way to experience Misanthrope comes with the very same kind of a mindset. Sometimes I feel like I'm an outsider. I can tolerate most human beings, but sometimes I feel like I'm not exactly the same species. So, at least in that regard, the title of this beautiful digipack resonates me very, very well. This is a one records release, and like I said, it's a side project. A lot of these guys have other projects, other bands, which, according to my knowledge anyway, are older than this one. They're, however, not exactly black metal, but death metal and beyond. So I can make sense that these guys are like, hey, let's have a black metal project where we can totally focus on that darker, sinister side of things. And as such, this debut album does just decent job. But where it fails is, well, let me put it this way. A lot more bands should definitely demo. Whether it's released or not, at least they should demo a lot. Now, obviously, I don't know how much demos on released ones this band has been doing, but sometimes when I was listening to this album, I felt like, yeah, maybe these guys didn't really take those ideas to the, max and figure out like, okay, these are not that good ideas. So this album is in a way kind of a bumpy road, meaning it's kind of a hit and miss. That being said, the music is in so many ways, it's kind of a basic interpretation of second wave black metal. It kind of hints about more modern waves, say third wave and all that. But a lot of these ideas are something like, okay, they kind of understand what they're doing. They're doing black metal, having somewhat grim sound, some really cool riffs, but on the other hand, also quite a bit of filler parts. And that's create this bumpy road. But don't get me wrong, this is very much more on the positive side of things. Like, for instance, vocals, production, and a lot of those songwriting parts are indeed exactly what you might be interested to listen. So there's fundamentally nothing wrong with the style. More likely, what really new, original, and all that fascinating this adds to a lot of those black metal bands. Really not that much. But then again, if I were to compare this one to a lot of so-called classic albums from the 90s or early 2000s Norway, God forbid, I would say, yeah, rather go with ArsGoatia than rather one of those weird albums from the 90s. I'm talking about bands like Dirt Hemsgard and Mayhem gone totally like weird ways, instrumental, what have you, the Matrix, etc. So in that respect, ArsGoatia is definitely a safer choice for you than a lot of those weird yet original ones. Maybe nothing out of ordinary with this one, but at least it's a decent start. So there you have it. Now, since I was saying we go from worst to best, roughly the same level is this band called Kringa. This one is Territory Possession release, already been out for quite a few months. Came a little bit late to the party when I was in Spain, I think. And this one is also black metal, roughly the same style, same quality as the one before. I was noticing a lot of like similarities with a lot of Norwegian bands. Some riff might be ringing to my ears like, hey, this is some leftover from Dead Guard, or that riff is very much like Mayhem. Even some Destroyer 666 parts definitely happening here. But on the whole, like the whole package here is very, very something different. This is not a big band, which is why this is here on Underground Trio, but that doesn't mean this album isn't full of potential. But much like ArsGoatia, a lot of those ideas are really good, and then there are lots of ideas which more feel like maybe you should have left them out. The thing here is, there's a lot of potential in good ways. Like some of those ideas are like, why are you so unstable? And to me it feels much like the same way what I was saying earlier, ArsGoatia, maybe sometimes doing a little bit more demo material is right there. Second wave black metal flirting with the more modern style, so one could say this really could be labeled as the third wave of black metal, but since some of those ideas are definitely very, very 1990s like, I mean, it's sometimes hard to figure only which one to go. Maybe you can put it in both tags and just go with your personal flow and associations with all that stuff. Very decent album, but lacking some more killer material, or more like, if only the best parts were picked up for this one and made into an EP, MCD, or what have you, this could have been really, really good one. Now it's a little bit of hit and miss, so 7 out of 10 for both of these albums as score. And now to the best one. This one is the Gauntlet from United States of America, Dark Steel and Fire. Now already the name, the cover and album title is like, hey, this must be some kind of a traditional heavy metal. I'm thinking Manowar, maybe some more European style of heavy metal. But what have you here is actually Bathory worship band. Now, not totally nailing it, but definitely on the better side of things. And I must say this is actually pretty good. Now, if only the band would focus on certain era of Bathory, this would really be it. So this one starts with the ideas that could be said related to more and more first 3 albums by Bathory. That is the old school first wave of black metal that we're talking about. Whether we're talking about The Return or just the debut album, self-titled one, or even the third one under the Sound of Black Mark. I mean, there are parts where like, yeah, this is kind of a black metal. Now, nowadays people would go very retrospective, changing the narrative and say, it's black trash. Well, it was just black metal back in the day, so cope. But the thing here is, here on the momentum changes. I mean, some mid part of the album, after maybe the first third or whatever, this kind of started to go really a little bit more on the blood, fire, death style of thing, songwriting and compositions. And while I absolutely love that album, I think it's a near perfect one. This doesn't really get the atmosphere that is very, very much present on that one. Not to mention Hammerheart and Twilight of the Gods, which are probably even better. At least Hammerheart, a perfect album. But the Gauntlet is more like unable to figure out whether it should go for the black trash kind of a thing, the early waves of black metal, post-Venom and all that stuff, or rather go for the more epic ones. And that's where it kind of fails. First of all, the production doesn't really suit 2 different kind of things here, and secondly, the vocals are not exactly what Gorton did. I mean, he's not like the perfect vocalist, but he had 100% the atmosphere, the feeling, the passion and all that stuff. What was key essence of whatever Bathory did, both with the raspier ones and the more epic clean ones. And that's what the Gauntlet doesn't seem to be able to do. Maybe not willing to even try, I don't know. However, as big Bathory fan as I am, I think Gauntlet is pretty much a good worsted band for all those Bathory fans out there. Not perfect, not even nowhere near it, but if you like your modern dose of Bathory and you don't really care so much about albums like Octagon and Requiem, now this would be your solution. Anyway, all these 3 albums are definitely worth checking out, whether it's ArsGoatia, Kringa, or the Gauntlet. This one is just my personal favorite of this pile. Now, if you go check out these black metal bands, you will find links provided in the description box. They're Metal Archives links, but from that on, you can find the official Bandcamp and whatnot links. And there you go. Enjoy some good black metal, more of the modern or old school ways. Doesn't really matter. These one are worth watching, worth checking out, worth listening to. That should matter. Take care and enjoy your daily black metal. Bye bye.